it back a little bit, maybe. Welcome to the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about, cause I still don't know. I just do whatever I feel like doing, and hopefully it makes somebody smile. Hello again. Welcome to this newest edition of the Eglowitz Variety Show. I got something special planned for you today on the channel. Adjust the camera angle maybe a little bit there. That's probably fine. I've got something special for you on the channel today, something I haven't done, since the old days of the channel. Something that I've done, and if I have done it once or twice, it predates the rebranding of the channel as the Eglowitz Variety Show, and that is I'm going to eat my meal, and I am just gonna talk to you while I do it. I don't really have any topics or anything planned out, so I ordered from Grubhub. It looks like the drink leaked in the bag a little bit. Hopefully the food isn't too affected. But yeah, that's the plan, is just kind of sit here in front of the camera and, well, okay, it's not half bad as far as the destruction of the food brought about by the spillage of the drink. It's manageable. So what I've ordered today to eat is the Jack Harlow meal from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I just had a straw. Where did I put it? There it is. I had an interesting time ordering the meal. I'll explain that to you in a second. I need to take a sip of this lemonade before anything else. Is this lemonade? It looks red. I'm not sure if KFC's lemonade is supposed to be red, but it is red, whatever liquid is in here. That's fruit punch, not lemonade. But it is what it is. We have something fruity and sweet to drink, which was the goal. So I got the Jack Harlow meal from KFC. The reason I got this was, I guess you could say, the marketing worked, That's the purpose of the celebrity meal thing, and I guess it worked on me, the celebrity meal format. Jack Harlow is a celebrity that I like, and KFC is a restaurant that I like, and now they have KFC products with his face on it, so I buy. I'm a simple-minded consumer. I see thing I like, I buy. And I like KFC's food as well. I don't really have it that much anymore. I don't have it that frequently, but I live near one now, so maybe it'll be something that, I try to slip into my rotation of fast food a little more often. But, yeah, Jack Harlow's a celebrity that I'm at least a little bit fond of. KFC is food that I'm at least a little bit fond of, so you put the two together, and, my brain is whatever neurons, are activated by that marketing strategy. I have been activated. So I ordered the Jack Harlow meal today. What I was talking about having an interesting time ordering it was that when I was on Grubhub, I selected the meal, the option for the Jack Harlow meal. And it offered you, there was a spicy sandwich option and a classic sandwich option. And in my head, I was thinking, isn't the whole point of the, celebrity meal, whoever the celebrity or whatever the establishment is, I thought the whole purpose was supposed to be that you get the meal that, the celebrity gets. So I was thinking to myself, classic or spicy? I didn't know which one to pick. I went with spicy because that's what I like. But in the back of my head, I was thinking, shouldn't it be just whatever Mr. Harlow gets as the default? And then I went on Grubhub, I ordered online because it's raining out. Made sure to tip my driver real nice. Make sure you do the same. When I went into the more specific customization screen for the meal, it asked me everything. What kind of sides do you want? What kind of drink do you want? And I'm thinking to myself, I thought the whole purpose of this was to get the meal that Jack Harlow gets, so I feel like Jack Harlow while I eat this. But apparently not. So I went. I had to Google it. I turned to Google, and I looked up the meal, and then I was able to see that it's a spicy chicken sandwich, which I selected, as well as a mac and cheese, a fries, and a lemonade. So that's what I got. I didn't get the lemonade. That's what I attempted to get. I got a fruit punch instead. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and dig in, I guess. I do fear that the fries might get a little cold because they're in a exposed packaging, but and take what we get. I got a very elaborate, let me fix this angle again a little bit maybe. That's not half bad, maybe just get the light back in. I got a very elaborate lighting setup that I'm using for this video. I have, the room is pretty dark. I have my phone flashlight on, and if I cover that up, which I'm doing now, you only really get the light of my, my nice fancy Aurora projector with little green stars on it. But you know, you can't really see me that way and it's a little dark, so I figure by having the phone flashlight, you kind of keep the vibe of the star screen projector, but also you can see me, which I'm not an expert on this YouTube thing, not quite yet at least, but you know, I do think that one of the most important elements of a successful YouTuber is that you're able to be seen. So I got the spicy chicken sandwich here. I'm gonna go ahead and dig in. I haven't had, I don't think I've ever actually had a chicken sandwich from KFC. I really like the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I used to get that quite a bit, before I attempted to cut back on fast food. But I've never tried the KFC one. That's good. That's real good. Wow, the chicken is so juicy. And it's a nice plump piece of chicken too. You know, sometimes you get the chicken and it's mostly breading, or it's a small piece that just barely, isn't any bigger than the perimeter of the bun. This is a nice sized piece of chicken, nice and thick, nice and juicy. That's good. Wash it down with some fruit punch. And normally, while I eat, I would put on some music or something, or a TV show just to have something in the background. Because I can't be, my brain needs stimulation. Simulation is like the Matrix. Stimulation is like a stimulant. Normally, getting back to what I was saying, normally I would put on, music, or I would put on a movie or something to keep my brain stimulated while I eat, because it can't be, if it goes without stimulation for more than 6 seconds, things start getting crazy up there. So I would do that, but I fear that if I did that, the video might get copyright stricken, because I'm not doing it for commentary or entertainment purposes. It's just kind of for my own listening pleasure, which I think is against the rules or the laws or whatever they are. I was talking briefly about my relationship with Jack Harlow and his music a little earlier. I think I discovered Jack way early, actually. Not way early, because way early would be probably, people in his hometown in the early to mid 2010s. But I discovered him, I think, around 2016 or 2017, shortly after the release of his Gazebo mixtape. And I vibed with that mixtape so much. I still listen to it quite a bit, Gazebo. That mixtape, I think it's got such good songs on it. The opener, Eastern Parkway, Detox is a great song, Routine is a great song. Dark Night was the first song I heard from Jack. It came up on one of my Apple Music playlists, a number of years ago. I was wildly impressed by his music, by his honesty, by his vulnerability, by his relatability. A lot of the things he talks about on that Gazebo tape were things I could relate to and I could appreciate. And then you go back into his history before that, and you kind of see that he's been releasing music since he was like 12, 13 years old on his Guitar Hero mic, music that he recorded that early on, So I was just tremendously impressed. Excuse me. By what I heard, I tremendously related to him. I was a big fan of Jack. And then it seems as time went on, and I mean none of this as a personal attack on Jack or anything. I respect the guy. I'd love to meet the guy. I'd love to make some music with the guy. But as time went on after that, his music appealed to me less and less. I think what came after Gazebo? I think the tape Loose came after Gazebo, which was a fine tape, and there's actually some songs on there I listened to quite a bit. But, you know, as he was growing in popularity, I became less and less able to relate and to connect to his music and the subject matter and the things he was discussing. And that's okay. That's totally fine. Because, like, you know, I can listen to an artist and listen to their music, or watch a movie, or read a book, and not be able to connect to the artist's lived experience or the subject matter. You know, Freddie Gibbs is a great example of that. I listen to a lot of Freddie Gibbs, and I think he's one of the best artists going today in music, to be honest with you. I can't really relate to a lot of the things he talks about. I think with Jack, it was a little more disappointing because there was a time where I so heavily related to, you know, a lot of the things that he spoke about in his music, and then it kind of became less so as time went on. So there was a loss there, you know, with someone like Freddie Gibbs or, you know, other kinds of artists. There's not, you know, if I don't relate to you, fine. I could appreciate your music for what it is. If I don't relate to you, you know, not even just fine, but like great, you know, I could learn a little bit more about other people's, other cultures, etc.'s lived experiences. But with Jack, there was a loss there. There was a sense of loss. There was a sense of, you know, this was someone whose music I really connected to, like on a deep and kind of very personal level. And then to lose that, you know, as time went on, it was pretty disappointing. And he's still, you know, don't get me wrong, I've still listened to, you know, most of the stuff that he's put out. I haven't listened to his newest album just based on the reception to it, to be honest with you. There was a few songs off of Loose that I liked, though. There was a few songs off his Confetti tape that I liked. But by the time Confetti came around, I think I kind of realized that I lost him, if you will. Not, you know, he's not a personal friend or anything, but lost him in terms of, all right, you know, that I don't think there's going to be anything from here on out that I really connect to in the same way that I did the Gazebo tape. This is a great sandwich. I need some napkins, because the ones that they gave me were soaked in fruit punch. I'm going to go grab one, and we will be back. I'm not going to cut the video or anything. I'm just saying, you know, I'll be back shortly. Paper towel acquired. And there's still, you know, even as late in Jack's discography as his first studio album, which came out, I think, in December of 2021, the That's What They All Say album. Even that, there was a couple moments where there were songs I was able to relate to and kind of connect to and stuff. But they, you know, it's definitely, the number has shrunk dramatically. And I feel like lately, kind of the subject matter of his music is very... This camera angle isn't very good. You know, it's very kind of samey. You know, a lot of the songs and lyrics are about how he predicted his success, and about how he loves ladies and ladies love him and all that stuff. And that's great stuff, and that, you know, if that's his truth, I wouldn't want him to dishonor his truth, you know? But I think he has a tremendous amount more to say than that. I think he's a deeper thinker than that. You know, again, I don't know the guy, but just based off his music and, you know, the music that I've heard from him and the way I've seen him speak and conduct himself, you know, I think he has more in him than that. I don't think we're getting it yet, but I think it's pretty exciting to think that we someday could. But for now, I will eat his sandwich. And I will enjoy it. It's not very often that I find myself really connecting to an artist's music in the way that I did with Jack's. I probably count on one or maybe 2.5 hands, or 1.5 hands, the number of artists who I have connected to in that way. Even some of my favorite artists, like I mentioned Freddie Gibbs before. MF Doom is a great example too. Just I could really appreciate an artist and listen to them a lot, and they'll probably like Doom and Freddie are probably like in my top 10 most listened to artists, music artists of any kind. But I don't really, you know, truly spiritually on a deep personal level, connect to a lot of artists. Jack was one of them for a time period. Loyal Carner is one as well. I don't know if a lot of people, on this side of the river know about him, or this side of the ocean. Maybe he's more popular than I think. I'm not sure, but Loyal Carner is a tremendous influence on me, and I relate to his music on such a deep level. He's such an introspective, kind of reflective and observant guy, and a lot of the times the things that he talks about, or the way that he talks about the people he loves, or the way he describes his experience and perception of the world around him, his experiences with different kinds of things, he's someone I really relate to as well. Princess Nokia is a recent one. I haven't heard a ton of her work, but I listened to her two albums that I think came out, as kind of brother-sister albums, which were Everything is Beautiful and Everything Sucks. Those two albums are, I really connected to on a deep and personal level. I think especially Everything is Beautiful, her sense of kind of childlike joy, ability to play, to be playful, to be unabashedly joyful. That, it was something I really connected to. So that was, I think, the most recent artist. Princess Nokia is probably the most recent artist I've, had that relationship with. Not a personal one, obviously, in terms of, if I go on my phone, I don't have her number, I can't call her and, ask her how she's doing, but connection in terms, of me to the music, I guess is better to say. Me to the music rather than me to the artist. Mac Miller's music is another artist. He's another artist whose music that I've deeply kind of connected to on a personal level as well. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Doom as well, who I mentioned earlier. Got a couple posters on the wall behind me here. Not sure if you've noticed them quite yet. I've got Vince McMahon. Where's my finger? There it is. Vince McMahon on the top, and DJ Khaled on the bottom. I feel like those are two guys whose posters you might see on like a college bro cryptocurrency NFT dude's wall, and he would say something like, "Yeah, man, like, Vince McMahon and DJ Khaled, they're just like these smart, driven like businessmen, you know what I mean? And they're so smart about their business." That's not particularly why I have them up there. Nothing against you if you appreciate or admire these men for those reasons. But the Vince McMahon poster, I just think is such. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot of people, especially wrestling fans, have this image of Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, just in case you don't know, is the owner and operator of WWE, the most popular wrestling organization, and a lot of fans just give him a bad rap, and I've never met the guy, so I can't say what he's like, but he's got a reputation one way or the other. And I think this picture of him, putting up his own devil horns and having that shit-eating grin on his face, that's kind of the way I see that picture, is him being like, "Yep, I know what you think of me, and I don't care. Keep thinking it." And I kind of admire that. Not for any business reasons or anything like that, but just because I like the image. It kind of reminds me of, yeah, I am what I am, and you could think of me what you want to think of me, and I'll agree with you and I'll laugh at you, which I appreciate. And the DJ Khaled, I just think it's a nice picture to have up. I don't know that many people that are like fans of DJ Khaled. You know what I mean? I think I could maybe point to a lot of people that like different songs of his, or that have enjoyed videos of him doing whatever thing he happens to be doing on the internet. But I don't think I know many, if any, people that are like, yeah, like I'm a DJ Khaled stan. You know what I mean? I just don't think he's that kind of celebrity. And maybe I'm wrong. If you're a DJ Khaled stan and you're watching this, drop a comment, and I'd be very happy to chat with you about that. Apologies, I keep on checking my phone. I'm seeing notifications on my tablet, which I'm recording on, and then I just want to see what it is, so I check the phone. But yeah, so I think it's funny to have a poster of him up, because like I said, I don't know that many people that are like diehard DJ Khaled fans, where they have all his merch and they have his posters and they listen to his music all day and things like that. So I just think it's kind of funny having him up there, because people always, if I have company and they see the poster and they say to me or say to themselves silently, what the heck? What is this guy a DJ Khaled fanboy? So I just think it's funny for a laugh, I think. No disrespect to DJ Khaled or anything like that. After I finish this sandwich, I'm probably going to go for the fries first of all, because they've probably gotten pretty cold by now. It's been about 20 minutes since I've been recording this, and then figure before that it was 7 or 8 minutes of the driver having it in his car, so these things are probably about a half hour old, so I want to attack the fries before they get in any worse of a state than they are now. I basically finished the fruit punch already. I wish I was the kind of eater who savored a drink a little bit more. I really don't. If I'm out with a friend or a couple friends and we get coffee, or if we get, smoothies, milkshakes, even if we're going to a restaurant, we're sitting down with, Pepsis or waters, whatever kind of drink we have, I tend to guzzle the drink down pretty quickly. They'll still be kind of 3 sips into their coffee, and I'll be swirling around the ice at the bottom, trying to get the last of the whipped cream out. If you noticed me a moment ago looking at the exterior of the wrapper, I was looking to see if it was the Jack Harlow wrapper, because it said on the wrapper with the W. It said in all of the advertising material that, you get the Jack Harlow meal, everything that comes with it has him on it. And so far it looks like the only thing that does is the cup. It's got Jack Harlow on it. His beard is not really that proper in real life. Much like mine, actually. It's a little more patchy, I think, than that, but I guess they want to make him look nice for the cup. It's not on the fries, it's not on the wrapper, so, the only other thing I could think of is, unless it's on the bottom of the mac and cheese and you have to eat all the mac and cheese to see it, I think that's all the Jack Harlow that we get as far as his face on the cartons. I didn't get any ketchup or anything for the fries, so I'm just going to go in regular. The fries have a nice flavor to them, and they're nice and seasoned. They're still nice and crispy, surprisingly, as well. I think I'm gonna save those for later, though. Maybe later on, off camera, I'll put them on the stovetop or something in order to get them hot again. Those seem like they could be very good fries, and I would like them hot. So I'm gonna put a hold on that. I'm gonna eat the mac and cheese. We'll chat a little bit more, and then that'll probably be the end of the video. Excuse me. I'm gonna see if I have any water in that bottle over there. I see a water bottle. I think I might have water in it. Oh, no cigar. Not quite. I have a little bit. I think if I were to have my own meal, like my own celebrity meal, in the vein of the Jack Harlow meal or the Travis Scott meal or the BTS meal or the Saweetie meal or the... Is that all of them? What other ones have there been? Those are the only... There was the... Well, the Megan Thee Stallion one wasn't a meal per se, but she had her own sauce at Popeyes. That wasn't, I guess you wouldn't put that in the family of meals that celebrities have had at fast food places. I think if I were to have a meal, where would I want it to be? My first thought was Wendy's, because I worked there for quite a number of, well, I don't know about a number of years, or maybe a year and a half, or a good amount of time I worked at a Wendy's. And so I used to eat lots of food from there. I was in a bit worse of a financial situation at the time than I am now. So at the end of the night, you take home whatever you could take home, whatever food is left over, If you're lucky enough to have a manager on shift that lets you take food home, because technically you're supposed to throw all the leftover food out at the end of the night. So if there's leftover chicken nuggets, or if there's leftover French fries, leftover meat, anything like that, especially the meat, actually, little secret for you. I don't know if Wendy's would be real happy with me, telling you this, but I guess it is what it is. Maybe if they paid me better, I wouldn't have said anything, but I think it's common knowledge, though, that at the end of the night, whatever meat is left over, whatever burgers have been cooked, but have not been, made or sold, is ground up, and that's what they use for the chili meat for the next day. Excuse me. So yeah, if there was any leftover chicken, as far as not only nuggets, but this chicken, like grilled chicken for a sandwich, or a piece of spicy chicken for a sandwich, everything has to get thrown out. But if you're lucky enough to have a manager on shift, who doesn't mind you making a sandwich before you get rid of all the stuff, or doesn't mind you taking a bag of fries or whatever, what have you, before you get rid of the stuff. So I ate a lot of Wendy's during that time period, so that was my first thought. But also, because I worked at Wendy's for such a long time period, I'm not sure I would want to be associated with them in that way, to be honest with you. But that was the first one that came to mind, was Wendy's, so I'll stick with that train of thought. And as far as what would be in the meal, it would probably be a Southwest salad, is what it would be. But it would be a cold Southwest salad, because what I used to do sometimes was at the end of a shift, I would make myself a salad, and then I would take it home to use it to eat lunch the next day. Before I went back to work again that night. So yeah, I would probably do that. It would be a Southwest salad, except it has to be from the night before. So if I'm a customer and I go into Wendy's and I say, "Hi, I'd like a Southwest salad, please," the salad I will be receiving will be a Southwest salad, but it will be a day-old Southwest salad. So the chicken will be cold, all the ingredients are a day old and stuff like that. The drink would be tap water and chocolate chip cookie. 2 chocolate chip cookies actually are included in the meal. No fries. I'm not really a fry guy, except those fries, because those are pretty good. And 4 chicken nuggets. You know what? I was going to say spicy or regular, but that's not what I'm going to say. So it's 4 chicken nuggets included in the meal, and it's just, you could get 4 spicy, you could get 4 plain, you could get 3 and 1, you could get 2 and 2, you could get... Well, that's all the possibilities, I think, actually. But it's just a random assortment of nuggets every time, because that would be what I would do too. Is just take whatever they got left, just throw some of them in a thing, take them home and eat them. So that's probably what my meal would be. It'd be a day old Southwest salad, 2 chocolate chip cookies. What else did I say? I just said it. 4 chicken nuggets, random and spicy or classic chicken nuggets, and as far as the drink goes, tap water. So that's the Eglowitz meal. It's not officially licensed or anything, but if you want to go to Wendy's and try out the Eglowitz meal, the years before anyone else gets to, there you go, try it out. Although I'm not sure they would serve you a day-old salad, so you'd probably just have to get the salad, take it home, and then eat it the next day. So you'd actually have to make 2 trips to Wendy's, I guess. You'd have to No, you wouldn't actually. You could go one night to Wendy's. Like, let's say you go Wednesday night to Wendy's. You get all that. You put the salad in the fridge. Put the cookies in a Ziploc bag. Put the nuggets, in a Ziploc bag as well. Put those in the fridge, and then the next day you microwave the nuggets, and you just eat the salad cold, and then you have the cookies, and then you have tap water on the side, and whatever kind of beverage receptacle you like to use, and there it is. That's the Eglowitz meal. Mac and cheese is pretty good. I'm not seeing any Jack Harlow on the bottom, but that's all right. I'm gonna hold on to that cup. I think it's just cool to have, even if I'm not, the biggest fan of his recent output. At one point I was, and it's just cool to have. I'm getting a little full, actually. I might not even finish the mac and cheese. I took a couple vocal lessons about a month or so ago. I took 2 vocal lessons with an incredible vocal teacher. I'm not sure if he wants me to, I'm sure he wouldn't mind it, actually, so I'll go ahead and I'll plug him. His name is Jordan Friend. He is on Instagram at Jordan W. Friend. He's based in Brooklyn, New York. If you happen to be watching this and you're looking for vocal lessons or someone to be a vocal coach or whatever, Jordan W. Friend on Instagram. I took a couple vocal lessons with him, and he's very intelligent. And very generous with his knowledge and with his what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say technique because that makes it sound more robotic. But he's very good at what he does. I took a couple vocal lessons with him, and we went over breath a little bit, because that was one thing he noticed kind of about me as a vocalist, whether it's singing or rapping, that I tended to not give myself enough breath, or to doubt that I had the breath. Even if I did have enough breath, I wouldn't be confident that I had enough breath, so I would be letting things go, letting phrases go too early because I was nervous about not having the breath. And so he helped me in a big way. I'd like to take some more lessons with him sometime soon. And since then, I say all that to say, here's the point I'm getting at. Since then, I've been very conscious of my breathing, during just all kinds of activities. Breathing is a thing, obviously, you don't think about. You don't have to put effort into doing, per se. But it's shocking how many times you just don't do it, or how often you don't do it and you don't realize it. I was eating just now, and I realized, wait a minute, I'm not breathing. While I was chewing, I'm I'm not breathing right now, dude. It's interesting, paying attention to it, calling more of your focus onto it, putting more intention into it, and you start to notice, wow, I am not spending my breath as efficiently as I could be, during all kinds of things, during all kinds of different activities. You just realize, wait a minute, I'm not breathing. And I should be, because there's no reason not to be, unless you're underneath the water, then maybe you don't want to be breathing. But other than that, or unless you're in the middle of a sentence, but even then you're still breathing, because when you're speaking, you're exhaling, and exhaling is part of breathing, so even when you're speaking, you're breathing. I don't know, it's really interesting to note that, and to start to see that, in your daily life, be wait a minute, I'm not breathing right now. And if I were, I maybe wouldn't be, feeling weird while I eat. I wouldn't get out of breath going up the stairs. You know what I mean? Little things like that. It's interesting. In a similar fashion, when I was in college a couple years back, studying theater, which I would like to get back into soon, we took a voice and diction class, and a lot of it was awareness of your body. You know, it was very kind of abstract, kind of deep work kind of stuff about your breath, your body, your relation to it, different kinds of things like that. And one of the things that we went over in that class was the way you stand and where you carry tension in your body when you stand. And one of the exercises, one of the many exercises that we did, involved setting your feet shoulder width apart and equally distributing your weight against all the points of your foot. So I'll lift up my foot just to show you real quick. So when I say the 3 points of your foot, I'm referring to the heel, the bottom, this is all the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the heel over here, and then the underneath the big toe, this point over here, and then this point at the base of the pinky toe. Yes, that's how long my pinky toe is. No hate, please. So each of your foot has those 3 points. So one of the exercises we would do was, set your feet shoulder width apart, obviously breathing the whole time, and trying to center yourself and evenly distribute the weight across all 6 of the points on your feet, so you're not leaning back all the way on your heels, you're not putting too much weight on the inside, so you're kind of folding yourself in, you're not putting too much weight on the outside of your feet, so you're kind of bobbing about like equally as best you can, kind of balancing yourself on all 6 of the points. And in a similar fashion to what I just talked about with the breathing, where I start to notice it in my daily life, I would be, and this is actually the same time period I was working at Wendy's, like I discussed before, I would be working at Wendy's, and what I mostly did there was either sandwich making or the grill person. So either sandwich making being, applying the condiments to the buns, putting the meat on it, boom, there you go. Or being a grill person, which is, grilling the meat. So the sandwich person has a supply of meat to take to put on the sandwiches. And so both of those positions require you to be standing basically all day. So, and I started doing it then, I'd be in the middle of making a sandwich, and I'll be like, wait a minute, like, why is all your weight, on the front of your foot right now? Or sometimes the opposite. Why are you carrying so much tension in the back of your heels right now? Just things like that. It's interesting, these artistic pursuits and how much they teach you, how much to kind of carry over into other things in just completely unexpected ways, which is why I love kind of studying art, to be honest. Obviously, I'm not talking about art kind of in the sitting down and painting way, but just art in terms of anything expressive, Just playing around with the colors here. I think I like the blue one the best. We're going to keep it on blue. We're going to pick up the speed a little bit. Oh, now we're zooming. But yeah, I like having moments like that, because I know it's not as prevalent now as it once was, because I think people are generally a little more open-minded and acknowledge that how important art and creative pursuits are. But there's definitely a time, and I'm sure this is still true to at least some extent now, today, where kind of artistic pursuits are frowned upon in terms of, they're not real careers, or they're not worthy pursuits, they're not noble pursuits, they're not money-making avenues to drive down or to walk down, however you transport yourself. But just things of that nature. And so it's always very validating for me when I find myself, and I don't agree with any of that, but I've heard a lot of it from different people, from different teachers, different just people kind of around you when you're growing up, because it's just how it is. That's a lot of people still have that opinion, though I don't think it was as prevalent as it once was. And so you hear it a lot, so it could be very validating, to be taking things from singing lessons into kind of your everyday life, and taking things, like making sure you're standing properly, and put that into your regular life. You learn about your posture, you learn about the way you carry yourself. You learn about yourself too, especially studying acting, like the amount of kind of looking inward you have to do, and the knowledge of self you have to have, the honesty and vulnerability you have to have. Like I truly think it makes you a better person to study the arts and to be, trained in the arts. I'm not saying everyone has to go to, what's a performing school? Juilliard? Is that a performing school? I think that's a music school. I'm not saying everyone has to go to Juilliard or, New York Film Academy or anything like that and become a professional actor or musician or what have you, but in a similar way to like how kids have to know some math, for example. You know what I mean? Like you have to know basic math in order to be like a functional person. You don't have to be, maybe you don't have to know the Pythagorean theorem, and you don't have to know, how to calculate the square root of the inverse of the y-axis or anything like that. But, like I think up to like maybe 9th or 10th grade math is like, yeah, that's stuff you kind of like have to know and you should be taught, and in a similar way, I think that everyone should, at some point, it doesn't have to be in your childhood either. I think everyone at some point in their life, the sooner the better, should kind of experience the absolute magic. And I don't say that sarcastically, truly, the absolute magic that is being educated in one of the arts, whatever art it is, whether it's, painting, drawing, singing, screenwriting, architecture, crocheting, whatever your fashion design, whatever your particular artistic interest is, set design, lighting design, sound design, and these are all theater specific things. But they don't have to be, it could be soundtracks for a video game. What does it sound like when the character jumps? You know what I mean? Someone intentionally made a choice to pick, okay, we're going to use the blah noise when the character jumps, and so someone has to make that noise. Where does it come from? Getting a little offhand here. I think it's very important, that every person that is capable of doing so and has an interest, is not opposed to doing so, at some point in your life. Study some art. You don't have to be good at it either. That's not necessarily the point. The point is just to kind of stimulate a different part of your brain than you kind of normally do. Then that as part of your brain that you don't really get to stimulate that much. I think it's a worthy thing to do. Unless you just hate art. You just hate creativity in that case, No need. It's a rainy night here in Brooklyn tonight. But still a beautiful one. Save these fries for a little later. Put them on the stove, maybe. Bit of a shame that a lot of the contents of the bag got soaked, and that the drink was fruit punch rather than lemonade, and that the receptacles and wrappers didn't all have Jack Harlow on them, only the cup. But that's okay. I'll just leave them a 0-star review on Grubhub. I'll send an email voicing my complaints to customer service. And I will just, to put the icing on the cake to make sure that I am heard, I will go to the restaurant tomorrow, because it's in the neighborhood, and I will make a little bit of a scene until I get what I want. And that's going to be what has to happen, unfortunately. That's all a joke. I think I'm going to call it a wrap on this video. I don't really know what else to talk about. It's been 40-something minutes, so I think we're in absolute prime time to get this thing wrapped up. Oh, no. I really feel weird, to be honest with you, saying, let me fix the angle a little bit, saying all the YouTuber things that you're supposed to say, things like the video and subscribe and all that, because to be honest with you, I don't really want people doing those things unless they feel called to, you know what I mean? If you truly enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to leave a thumbs up on the video because you enjoyed it that much, that'd be appreciated, and if you want to subscribe, then I'd love that. I'd love if you subscribe. But I don't want you to subscribe because I asked you to. I want you to subscribe because you enjoy the content enough to want to see more. And if you don't, then, don't subscribe. That's fine. But if you do, I would truly appreciate it. Leave a comment if you'd like, if you have anything to say or any thoughts you'd like to share, or want to tell me how the weather is wherever you are, or tell me your favorite Pokemon, anything at all. I welcome it all. It's a free for all down there in the comments. So whatever you feel compelled to say, if anything, then say it. So as you know, if you have seen a video or two on this channel as of late, we don't particularly have an outro song, but what the formula has tended to be is it'll be welcome to the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about because I still don't know. And then the last two lines will be something I improvise in the moment, depending on whatever plans I have going on after the filming of the video. I'm trying to talk with my hands while playing the guitar. So we'll try something like that. In the meantime, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you watching this, whether you watched the first minute of it or whether you watched 44, the whole entirety of it. Whatever the case is, I appreciate you being here. I have been Sam Eglowitz, and this has been the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about, because I still don't know. Now I'm going to probably clean my bathroom and hopefully not too late go to sleep so I could wake up early tomorrow and do some laundry.